This is the African continent, and I'm going over just quickly practically all the general stuff here that's going to be included. First of all, I'll go over the they're going to be facing massive droughts this year, and it's so sad because they get hit either with the extremes, extreme flooding or droughts. But there, I'm seeing about these areas here, and obviously that's going to happen. But you're going to have a season where it's about nearly 3 months of droughts, but then it follows with I'm sorry, excuse me a minute. So the rain is going to come in, and I'm seeing here in this like a crescent here, these are where the extreme floods are going to be. It's as if this whole area's got a lot of flash flooding, I'm afraid. And it comes in pretty quickly, lasts for about nearly 2 weeks, but it does a lot of damage, I'm afraid, and doesn't help with everything. It's flooding. We're just going to quickly go over flooding, but it's really associated with cyclones, but I'm still going to go over it. Sri Lanka sees a huge monsoon season where it's actually extending another 2 to 5 weeks over the regular monsoons. So there are deluges and flash flooding in there. Same with India or any of this area here. It's going through Malaysia, it gets affected with it, all this Singapore, and it's really not, it's mostly around this area, that area. So you'll see that the monsoons are actually getting worse, and flash flooding and things like that, okay? We're doing South America here, and earthquakes, I hate to say it, they're going to see quite a few, and mostly off on Chile, round about here. This seems to be getting active, this area, and I think it's to do with a fault line there. We'll talk about that some other time when it happens, but quite frankly, they're going to see anything from 5.5s to as much as 7.6. That's really in Chile. There are more on us, I hate to say even let me just go down there. Haiti, Port-au-Prince, they're seeing a lot more earthquakes too, and they're anything ranging from the minors of 2.2, anything upwards of nearly 7.1, I'm afraid. So that whole region's getting hit. Nicaragua as well, they'll see all earthquakes too. But not only that, they're going to see activity from hurricanes coming in from this section, which are coming into the Gulf of Mexico. So they're going to be, there's going to be one that's coming in here that's pretty bad, coming through Cuba and going into Gulf of Mexico. It's projecting, I think, about a 5, but it isn't a 5. I don't see it developing right through to 5, but more like a 4, 4.5, but it doesn't tip onto 5. Affects Florida, but quite frankly to Cuba, Miami, obviously. And then there are other earthquakes coming in into Mexico, 6.5s, not really 6.8, maybe, but quite frankly, all that down that coast, okay? And regarding anything else, regarding COVID, I am seeing that COVID, the Omicron here is going to be more prevalent. Obviously, it's hitting here, but Nigeria, around about March, is going to have higher figures. Cameroon, all these areas, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and it's really this area that's going to find that they're going to be far more affected with the coronavirus. A bit over here too, and these are because really of the high density areas and people traveling. And they don't really have, sadly, there are some countries in here that don't have the actual injections or vaccines to counter it. Saudi Arabia, Oman, they're going to see more droughts than rain, I'm afraid, on this whole area. All right? Terrorist action, I see that there are, obviously, Nigeria seems to be going through some kind of change of government, or at least definitely fighting there, I'm seeing. But the smaller countries seem to be, I wouldn't say stable, but they're still going, there are changes in government there, which is nothing new, I suppose, I'm sorry. But it's just really the people, the everyday people who really are just struggling to survive. That's who I feel sorry for. Madagascar, just quickly, seems to be going through a lot of rainfall too. It's in that, even though the crescent is like this, it seems to be having after effects of the rain. So Madagascar is going to get hit too, I'm afraid. Hi, back again here, and we're on the Johns Hopkins University of Medicine website, and they give a pretty, hopefully an accurate one, far more comprehensive anyway. So I just wanted to, the last COVID update I did was a few months ago, and I did mention that I did see something of a drop over Christmas. So just to let you know, over here on the right, and I'll bring it over a bit here. Here over on the right, on the 25th, it did drop, but obviously because we were at home or whatever, but there was a slight drop here. Daily cases, daily deaths, and here it was daily administered, so I don't care about that one. So basically, I was right there. For some strange reason, maybe it's because everybody was at home and not going out. So that was that. Let's concentrate on, in America, I'm just going to move that over so you could see. US is claiming at 28-day total at 6 million. Again, 55.5 million total. United Kingdom at 2 million, coming into nearly 28, 2,800,000 coming in. Totals of 13 million, 13 and a half. France, and you can read that anyway. Italy, 28-day total is 1,218,000. We're going over certain countries here quickly, and I'll give you the projection, but quite frankly, the Omicron is, I'm still seeing it develop. I hope to God I am wrong, and that my predictions are inaccurate, and you could, call me whatever you like, but quite frankly, I'd rather be that way than dead on with this kind of discussion here and prediction. So basically, the total cases are 291 million, nearly 92, coming into 92 million across the world. So total deaths are at 5 million for 5.5. So it's just so sad that the 28-day cases load is coming up to 24 million. Now, Omicron obviously is moving faster than the others. I do see it, and please don't freak out at this, but round about March, and you won't see it until May, the Omicron seems to be not fluctuating, I would say it's like warping into a different mutation. The mutation actually is going to find that it's far more deadlier. There are going to be more deaths associated with the Omicron. By about February, I do see that they are going to find one vaccine that will help. In other words, they're adding to it, not taking away, but they're adding to it the existing vaccine to try and get it more applicable for the Omicron. The children I am a bit worried about from 14 under, even though some of them have had their dosage, their vaccines, which has helped, by the way. I don't hold with the conspiracy theory that, oh yeah, they're trying to program us and God knows what else was coming out here in America. I don't even want to address it. It's so ridiculous. But basically, you have to be aware that it is going to start changing by May. And it's kind of so close that it's could be associated with, oh, maybe this is a new mutation. And in a way, strictly speaking, it is a new mutation. It's a mutation of the Omicron, not the Delta. And the Delta seems to be more or less controlled, kind of 75%, and with 25% out there that are really still affecting people. And those are the ones who haven't had the vaccine. But again, it is also that you could get it, a breakthrough infection, as they call it. So just do what you need to do. I'm still wearing a mask and a K95 mask. If you can't get over the really high-end one, because obviously the nurses and doctors need that, and the people in the hospitals. So the K95s at least have 5 layers of it to help you with. So be careful. Also, there are certain countries that it's going to be far more devastating to, which we'll cover in a second. I do see other mutations coming in, developing this year, other than the one, and I still see it associated with Omicron. And that one, you'll see there is a surge in the current Omicron, and we'll go over quickly sections or continents. So we're looking at in America here, and we'll do that. And I'm seeing the actual peak coming in to America, coming in round about actually middle April to end of May, where it's more or less caught up on itself, that where it could get not only traced, but quite frankly, infect other people. So there's going to be actually 3 peaks. One peak coming in at the end of January, and that's really middle to end of January. So it's another week and a half. I'm actually filming this on on the 3rd of January. I'm really seeing ahead. January 3rd. So I am seeing in about a week and a half to 2 weeks, you'll see a spike, and that's really associated with quite naturally New Year's Eve and everybody getting together, and that's in America. Okay, I'm only talking about America at the moment. Then I'm seeing one in March, around about the 12th to the 15th. I'm seeing the real end peak, which is kind of a lesser peak, but the 28-day total coming down kind of about 50%, but it's still a peak coming in at around about the May 1st or 2nd. The end of the Omicron won't be, it'll be still kind of an ingredient in the soup, put it that way, until about November. So it's still going to be circulating around America, okay? We'll talk about the other variants later. Delta is still strong, and it's going to actually affect far more in this region here and in California, and definitely the New York Association. Florida as well, by the way. So those are where Delta and Omicron are going to be feasting. I hate to say it. Okay, so that's America. We're going to South America again. These are highly populated areas where there is high population. And sadly, you know, in Haiti and everything else, trying to get vaccines to them, it's hard. So that's the sad bit about it. We're going Africa. Again, same thing, Omicron. But I'm just touching on the really sensitive areas. And I'm seeing Italy get really bad, I'm afraid. Their peak for Omicron is going to be actually round about, they're peaking at the end of, not peaking, about the 18th of January, and then they're peaking at March 12th, round about that area, with a third peak round about May 16th. It seems to be just going rapidly right through, and there are reported deaths by more in May, I'm afraid, with Omicron. Spain as well, France, all of these other countries in Europe, I'm seeing peaks in more or less the same area as Italy. So I'm just not going to touch that. London has a kind of an extra peak round about April, end of April, and one in June. Okay. Just moving over, just touching on the major countries here. India sees their peak with Omicron round about, let's see, it's really about end of January into February, and there's one in March 17th and one in April 22nd. Then there's a further peak with a new variant in August, okay? And that one goes through, and it's really, again, it's trying to find the vaccines and have it distributed. Same more or less with Sri Lanka, it's same thing. Singapore seems to be, even though they're trying to control it, I'm really not touching it too many. Australia, yes, there are, and you're pretty well controlled. Like, well, New Zealand is exceptional, but Tasmania and everything, I do see there's a slight peak coming in about a week and a half to 2 weeks from now. That's January 18th, and round about March 22nd is another peak. You really go through Omicron round about the end of Omicron, well, I would say end, the downtrend for Omicron will be coming in round about August 17th, even though you really aren't anywhere near the level that we are at here in America. New Zealand, same thing. They're really pretty well controlled. They're right on top of things, which is really nice to see. So basically that's it. I'm going back again. Here we go. Oops, sorry. Russia, I'm sorry to tell you this, and this is what I'm seeing. Russia and China are not reporting the real caseload. So to be honest, that's not the truth of what they're reporting. And sorry, but that's what I'm seeing. Okay, I'm not even going into those two countries. Okay, so there is another variant, and it's coming in, as I said, being revealed around about May that they're finding it, but by June 15th, you'll see that it's kind of rearing its head. It's kind of on par with Omicron, but the symptoms are far more like a headache, intense headache, really weakness. It's kind of like the flu again, but an intense flu. There is on the younger people, I see that they're stomach issues and throwing up. So that's really it. And as one scientist said, that it's here to stay kind of thing. We're living with it. It won't be a pandemic, it'll be an epidemic, but it is there. But you really have to be wise. And I know on a different matter completely, I did promise to do a video, and I am so sorry I'm not being lazy, maybe I am, to some people, but quite frankly, a lot's been going on in my life. So I want to make sure that I will do the video to help you look at foods and spices, etc., that would help you increase your immune system, not your immunity, but somewhat it will. But I will do that for you, but I'm not too sure when. I don't want to give you false promises at this stage because there's, as I said, a lot going on. But I will try my best because it's going to be a long cooking show. I am going to give you a good recipe made in 10-15 minutes. You can make a good hearty meal. A soup, actually, I created, but it's quite tasty if you like onions and garlic and all kinds of other spices in there. But basically, I'll try and put that out for you not too long from now, hopefully. Okay, so stay safe, hydrate. Obviously, I'm the right one to talk because I haven't been hydrating as much as I should. There's my confession. But basically, you need to look after yourselves and look after your friends. Be wise about it. Even if you think the mask doesn't help, wear a mask. I'm more concerned about you who are listening to this and feedback of what is going on. I do check the comments section as much as I can. And I really, truly wish you much blessings and health. And just go take one thing day at a time. On a different note, I will put another video in this section to everybody. But I'll put this on another section, okay? Anyway, take care, blessings. This is Darshini signing off. Okay, on this one, it's really for everybody, and that is that quite a few months ago, somebody had asked about, why are the young ones getting hit, and if I could put my life in front of theirs, I would, which is a lovely and beautiful sacrifice, but quite frankly, I'm seeing it a bit further than that this whole thing with the pandemic and with all the subsequent deaths and sadness going on, fear is, I used to teach a class, I don't know if I'll start those again, but it's called Face Your Fears, and I just want to talk quickly about fear, and that is really, it's things that we only fear things that we can't control. And a lot of us are controllers. I'll confess I'm a controller. And we try and control our lives. And you'll find, obviously, in this circumstance, that we haven't controlled our lives. We can't control it. You can't control those other people who being fixated with conspiracy theories just to try and avoid looking at issues in their own lives. And they strike out. And that's why racism, I hate to say it, is going to be rampant. And here in America, I'm afraid, the previous administration has promoted that, sadly. And it is something that you have to be aware of. And when you're aware of, you won't do it. You won't get caught in that trap. But that's only one of the things, bigotry, racism. It's a hatred of other cultures, which is so stupid. You're only hating yourself because we're all at this in the same. We are all human. So please be far more mindful of it. I try and speak to when I'm doing readings and try and show people that they have the power to change things in their lives. But if you start concentrating just on yourself, not, in your own backyard, in your own house, the fear will be far more controllable. And you don't need to start fearing, what if? Well, one of the exercises, which is very, very simplistically put here, is always realize the fear to the worst scenario. And the worst scenario is you die. Or actually a worse one than that is that you survive and you're a long hauler with this pandemic. But quite frankly, you still have to look at that fear. But always be proactive. That's why I was trying to push people last year and say, please do your trust. If you can do a trust in America, do it. Don't need to worry about it, because when people transition, in other words, they die, they're all in chaos on the other side because they didn't left things unfinished. Try and do a will at least. Try and, I've been even cleaning out myself, my things here. And we don't need all these things in our lives. But you'll find out in the last 2 years, and I can't believe it's been 2 years, it's over 2 years, that people are seeing what really truly matters in their life and who really truly matters. And this is part of this huge transition we're going through anyway, which one day I'll get the book out. I'll be working on it hard this year. So basically, it's so important for you to step back, look at yourself, and if anybody's interested, let me know. I'll start putting little things for you to look, exercises, and maybe do some little videos, excerpts of the book that you could start working on yourself and start letting go of the fear. And you don't need to start worrying. I know there are people out there, by the way, who are so sadly in need of medical attention. Think of those countries where they don't have any medical attention because they can't afford it or they can't get to it because of where they are located. And we are so privileged in America, at least, and in certain other European countries, etc., that we don't realize, you're always looking over your neighbor's fence saying, oh, look, they're doing better than me. Just start concentrating on yourself. Try find some happiness in your life, even if it means reading a book or talking with a friend or staying in touch with a loved one. And I know a lot of you don't even have that, family or friends. And it's just even putting on a happier movie or simple little things. And I'm sorry I'm on my soapbox here, but it's so crucial to start worrying about yourself before you think about other people. And because you have to be that strength. And this is really in answer to one of the comments from last year. And she's such a giving person, this person. But she has to realize that she has to really be strong for the whole family by taking care of herself. And that includes you, I'm talking to, who's listening to this. So please think of something better than a soapbox. There's so many suicides, and that's on the increase, which I'll put a note on. And it's from the ages I mentioned in the note in the video. It's actually a slide. And that is what I'm really concerned about. So please look for signs. You can't stop them. That's as with my readings. I don't know how many I have been able to show them that suicide is not the answer. But I do know I did save quite a few, but it is ultimately their choice. And all they are is because they're lonely, all right? So you have a strength and power within yourself that you can affect people, reach out to people, connect with them. So that's what I'll leave you with, that this year make it about, not exactly nothing about yourself, but it's everything about yourself, to be honest. And then it works outwards. So you're the sun, and let the heat hit everybody else around your universe, okay? Well, blessings and love to all of you, and keep safe. Take care. Bye-bye.